The Credit Card Competition Act. It's a very noble sounding name for a bill that could change the US credit card industry as we know it, and change it for the worse. Hi, I'm Ben Hedges. I post videos almost every day on personal finance, credit cards, and how to use credit card points for luxury travel. If you like the sound of that, feel free to follow me here on YouTube, and you can also follow me on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram for more snappy, up-to-date content. My usernames and handles are on screen now. So on June 7th, 2023, Senator Dick Durbin introduced a bill to the Senate. Now, Durbin is a Democrat, but the bill does have 3 other co-sponsors, 2 Republicans and 1 other Democrat, so it is a bipartisan bill. And this bill seeks to make credit card processing fairer, or so they say. But fairer for who? Well, by the looks of it, fairer for the major retailers, and it could possibly hurt the consumer. Now, I read the entire bill so that you don't have to. That's a joke, it's just blank pieces of paper. It's like a 3-page bill. But the gist of this bill, if it passes, is that credit card companies will no longer be able to restrict their cards to just one payment network. Now, credit card payment networks are companies like Visa, MasterCard, etc. Those are separate from the banks that issue your credit cards. So here's an example. With this card, the issuer is Credit One Bank, and okay, I'm just holding this one up as a joke, guys. Never get a Credit One credit card. They suck. But anyway, so the issuing bank is Credit One, and the payment network is Visa, okay? That's the network, the electronic network that actually lets the payment go through. Then there are some banks, notably American Express, that they issue the cards and they are the payment processing network. So you can see on this Amex card, there's only the American Express logo, no other payment network, because they both issue the card and they provide the payment network for it. And Discover is another example of a bank that is both an issuer and a payment network for their own cards. Now, these 4 companies have a monopoly. Visa alone made up 52% of the US market in 2021, with MasterCard and Amex also having big shares. And this means that if they want to charge high interchange fees, that is the fee that the merchant or retailer pays when the card is swiped, no one can really stop them. Have you ever visited a store and they say they don't take American Express? Well, that is because American Express's merchant fees or interchange fees are generally higher than those other networks, so many stores would like Visa or something else instead. But now the Credit Card Competition Act, if it passes, is saying that credit card issuing banks will have to allow their cards to be used over not 1, but 2 networks. And these 2 networks cannot be networks that are owned by the same company or affiliated with the same company, and cannot be 2 networks that have the largest market share either. So if you're MasterCard, you couldn't do a deal with Visa, because then you would have the 2 biggest networks on the same card, and that wouldn't be allowed under this new law. So they'd have to go for MasterCard or an even smaller network like Star, which you've probably never heard of. But what is the problem with this? Well, it is the network that sets the interchange fees. So if a store has a choice to run your Amex card over either the American Express network, which might be more expensive, or a second smaller network that charges lower fees, they are going to choose the smaller network with lower fees. But typically it is those interchange fees that pay for your credit card rewards like cashback or points and miles that you can use for free flights and free hotels. But now Amex, for example, isn't getting those fees. Maybe they're getting a portion of a smaller fee on some other secondary network, but it's not enough to pay for such juicy rewards. Actually, the Electronic Payments Coalition identifies 3 key areas where this bill will have a negative effect. It eliminates credit card rewards, fraud protection and cybersecurity will decline because smaller networks may not have the means to provide such advanced security measures, and it could reduce access to capital and credit. So basically, credit card costs would go up, like fees, because those companies have to make money somehow, and perhaps they may even stop issuing credit cards to some more riskier borrowers. In the UK, they have limits on how high credit card interchange fees can be, and check out the difference between the US and UK versions of the Amex Platinum. In the US, the welcome bonus on the Amex Platinum is 80,000 points, but in the UK, it is a pathetic 30,000 points. And what is more, you can only get that 30,000 points if you haven't had a personal membership rewards enrolled Amex card in the past 24 months. It is incredibly restrictive, and that is because of the limit on interchange fees. But would that happen here in the US? Would card issuers roll back the rewards, or would they, in true American capitalistic style, find a way to get around it. Well, it has actually happened here in the US before with debit cards, and the same senator, Dick Durbin, passed the Durbin Amendment to the Dodd-Frank Act in 2010, and we'll tell you what effect that had on debit cards. But first, if you do have a lot of credit cards and you struggle to keep track of all your transactions, your balances, your rewards and cashback balances, etc., you will love the sponsor of today's video, Max Rewards. It lets you pull data from all of your credit cards, even if they are from different issuers, in one easy-to-use dashboard. It also tracks bonus categories, even the ones that change on a quarterly basis, and tells you which card to use where and at what local retailer for, you've guessed it, the Max Rewards, while you still can. In addition, if you have Amex cards, the pro version of Max Rewards Gold, activates all of your Amex offers for you, adding them to your card so you never miss a deal. And you can get a free month of Max Rewards Gold with my link below, or just download the app and check out the free features. So the Durbin Amendment passed in 2010, and by 2011, the Fed had brought in rules to limit debit card interchange fees to 0.05% of the transaction plus 21 cents. And that destroyed debit card rewards. Now you may be thinking, debit card rewards? Debit cards don't pay rewards? Well, that's right, because of the Durbin Amendment. Some debit cards back pre-2011 did actually have rewards programs, but all of those are gone now because of the Durbin Amendment. And according to the Electronic Payments Coalition, retailers are $145 billion better off because of the amendment, and they didn't pass any of those savings onto consumers. Only 1.2% of them lowered prices after the rules on debit card fees passed, and 22% of them actually raised their prices. So would that happen if this new act about credit cards passed? Well, the Credit Card Competition Act is a little different because it doesn't limit the amount of fees charged, it just forces credit card issuers to have two different payment networks on their cards. But would it be possible for deals between banks and those secondary networks to be done where they say, look, if you want to be a secondary network on our card, we issue rewards credit cards, so we need a certain level of revenue to be able to make our cards work. Will you provide that? Will you raise your fees? Perhaps you'll discover the CEO of Chase playing golf with the CEO of Star payment networks. Well, maybe, but the text of the bill does say that the two networks cannot be owned or controlled by affiliated persons. So we'll have to see what specific rules are made on that. I'm guessing they'll have to keep their distance, but there isn't anything in there that says a smaller network couldn't make a competitive offer to, say, Chase or American Express saying, hey, let us be the secondary network on your card and we'll match your interchange fees. But then you could, on the other hand, have big box retailers like Walmart and Costco doing deals too, okay? Maybe they will select a preferred secondary network and say, look, you can now only use this network at our store, so all of those credit cards will have to offer that network as a secondary network on their cards so that people will still shop with their cards at Costco, Walmart, etc. Small businesses, on the other hand, won't have the sales numbers to be picky and will probably have to just accept whatever network they can get. So it could get messy with big box retailers benefiting and smaller businesses and consumers losing out. And that's probably exactly why Walmart and Target are lobbying to get this bill passed. But guys, what do you think will happen? Leave your comments below. Also, don't forget to get a free month of Max Rewards Gold in the description below. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.